Well, hello, whoever gave me one like already. How are you? Hopefully, we get lots of people in tonight. YouTube has been really. What's up, Jesse? How are you? Good seeing you tonight. There she is. Hey, Janie. How are you, dearie? Matt C. Tijuana Border Jumper. Nick Hendricks. Troy. David, Kathy Hayes, Monkey Poo, Onyx, Kathy, Barry, Erica, Analog, how are you? I'm all right. Leslie September, how are you, buddy? I do have lot lizard stories. Tijuana Border Jumper. Hey, Margie, how are you? Frank Morris, what's up? Steve Jackson, what's going on, my friend? I got 3 lot lizard stories. I got some really good experiences tonight. Hey, Chrissy, how are you? Monkey Poo Coffee guy. Dude, I don't care what anybody says. The Monkey Poo Coffee is fucking good. I always have Dogman stories every live stream. What's going on, John? How are you? JT, what's up, buddy? Motorboat, Shackle, Neck. How are you? I do, in fact, Scooby-Doo. I do, in fact. Dustin, what's going on? I don't know if you guys have had crazy weather where you're at, but holy cow. It has been raining nonstop. It stopped raining today. I was talking to my daughter and her boyfriend earlier, and I'm like, look, we can see the moon for the first time in a week. Hey, Amanda, how are you? 3Cat Mom, how are you? Debbie Bright. Rainy all week. I found out I am pregnant again after my tubes were tied. Holy shit, Caddy. Holy shit. Your husband or boyfriend has some powerful swimmers. He's like, I'm getting in there. Hell yeah. Dustin, you're absolutely right. I was thinking about that, and I actually, same 2 people. I was talking to my daughter and her boyfriend, and I was like, it's really weird because this winter we got a shitload of snow, a lot more than last year. And now we're just getting hammered with rain. Like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. What's up, Johnny Ohm? How are you? Ill Magic, what's going on? Are there dog? Yeah, Dogman 50 states, every state, even in Hawaii. I used to think there was not in Hawaii, but to be honest with you, there's actually a lore, a tribal lore of dog-headed people that lived in Hawaii like back in the day. I did an upload about it. People didn't like it. Got like not many views. I think because there wasn't any experiences, it was just sharing the information. I know you liked it, Jane. And I butchered every Hawaiian name. I fucking butchered it. It was it was terrible. I think I had like 18 life-threatening emails about my butchering Hawaiian language. They wanted to skewer me like a piece of spam on a stick. What's up, Mike Turner? How are you? San Francisco Bay Wastewater. What's up, buddy? MJ Bates, how are you? Neil Decker, what's going on, buddy? Moving to Temple. Your guess is as good as ours, Debbie. Your guess is as good as ours. No one really knows. Matt, I really, I don't care. I talk, I say words how I like say words. And, you know, I don't know. I'll look them up. I'll Google them. And then as I'm like reading them or saying them, my fucking brain has its own mind. It's like, it's just going to tell me what to say. And I'll say it wrong all the time. Because that's just me. Nightmare 74. How are you? Jason B. I'm glad you're here with us, Jason B. Pamela, how are you tonight? Randall Kennedy. Randall Kennedy. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Mr. Shackle Nizak, how are you, buddy? Mary Angel Magdalene, how are you? DB fucking Mac is with us tonight. Delirium, how are you? How are you feeling? Trisha Ann, how are you? Thank you for that freaking amazing super thanks or whatever it was called in the video earlier today. I appreciate that, Trisha Ann. T1 Border Jumper, thank you so much. So I brought a new lot lizard into the scene. I created a new lot lizard for this week. But Lizzo is here. Lizzo will be here with us. And Earl. Nicola, what's going on? Thank you, Amanda Crazy Life. Oh, thanks, Randall Kennedy. Tell your girlfriend thank you so much. How about those freaking... What's up, Simone? The gift did not come today. I was hoping it would come today so we could do it on the live stream, but no. Last I checked, let me check real quick. I'll tell you. Hang on. In transit. It says expected delivery Saturday the 10th, but it just got processed through New York City. So, dang it. I was looking forward to doing it too. What's up, Enormous? How are you, buddy? Scott Lang Horst. Mary, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes, definitely next week. Do I have to refrigerate it? Richard Minnick, what's going on, brother? No, but a lot of weird things have been happening, Matt C. And I'm literally not going to talk about it because I don't want to jinx myself. I do, like, I'm, and I take things to heart. Like, I'm kind of emotional like that. It's weird. And so when things go like weird and wrong, I just fucking, I don't know. It's weird. Janie, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you, guys. Kimberly Flores, how are you? How come Shackleneck hasn't said hi to me? God damn him. In a little bit, DB Mac, I promise you, buddy. I promise. All right. So anyway, back to Aramik real quick. How about those gifts? Holy crap. Like that candle holder, amazing. Amazing. Those two, the Aramik t-shirt. Don't worry, Mothman. Aramik doesn't believe in you either. Ha! How cool is that? Thank you, Neck. I feel left out when you don't say hi to me. It was a good video, wasn't it, Johnny Holm? I think the best video I did this week was the CIA documents on the Ark of the Covenant. And you can print them out. They're really weird too. There's only like three pages of it. And then there's 7 or 8 pages of the psychic that he or she, because it doesn't say the gender, was just jotting down things and drawing things that they released to the public as well. Randall Kennedy, thank you so much. Switched my route. Now I'm going right by the Dismal. Holy shit. Dang it. Nick, I was just teasing. Wow. The Dismal is a creepy place. I have a subscriber that's down that way. She's a researcher. She used to be a sheriff's deputy. She got in a really bad car accident. She flipped her car. She was actually chasing somebody. Really bad car accident, flipped her car, hurt her back. She became animal control. And she had talked to me about dogmen living in and creating these like paths through, and my brain just shut off. You guys from the South will know the vegetation thing that I'm thinking of. It is from China. It's not indigenous to here. It's from China. It grows really quick and it grows really tall and really thick. Yes, kudzu. Thank you. So she was talking about how she would drive in her animal control outfit or vehicle and look into the kudzu because she could see trails. Like there'd be trail systems. Maura, how are you? There'd be trail systems in there, and they would use them to hide and stuff. Very interesting. And then I had the interview saved because it was not a very long interview, but it was long enough. And just something happened to it. I must have deleted it by accident. But I think we'll start the night off. We'll start the night off right with a, let me see here. With a very interesting crawler experience. Mike, you remember that? Yeah, it was very nice. I'm not going to share her name because she made me promise. She's actually the pictures I have. I've shared the pictures quite a few times. She has kayaked and canoed through the Dismal Swamp, and out there's like little mini islands or something out there, and she'll go onto them, and there's some trees and stuff. But she had captured like off of the coast of these little islands, like dogmen, in trees. And she believes that she had captured like a small one that was in the tree. Maggie Mayhem, how are you tonight? Derek Connor, how are you? All right, so very interesting crawler experience. Etheria, how are you? Carol Hollenbeck, how are you tonight? Jessica? Brian Koch, how are you? All right, this is not exactly a crawler, but it's a pale humanoid. Oh my God, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Mary. Holy shoot, thank you. Makes you wonder. This happened to me and my boyfriend 2 years ago, and I decided to share it. It was about 2 a.m, September 2018. We live about 25 minutes out of town in northern British Columbia, Canada, and our house is surrounded by woods because it's on a dead-end road. We usually pull out of the driveway and turn on our lights. Why? It's just a weird habit, I suppose. We both would do it. So I am behind the wheel. I pull out, go left down the road, and turn on my high beams. And that's when we see it. We see this weird, hairless, pale humanoid creature crouching in the middle of the road. It almost seemed to be glowing, but that was probably because it was so pale white, and I had not turned off my high beams. It whipped its head at us as if it was surprised by our lights turning on. After a second, it shambles across the rest of the road in jerky movements down into a ditch, which was at least 3 feet deep. But that's not it. We both watched it as it went down into this ditch and turned around to face us. And then it stood on its hind legs, exactly like a human, but not quite. It was over 5 feet tall. It stood over 5 feet higher than the ditch, taller than our car at the time. I remember the ditch is 3 feet deep, so this would put that creature somewhere around 7 to 8 feet. It did look aggressive, hunched at the shoulders and leaning forward slightly as if to look at the car. And I swear I made eye contact with it. No, it was not watching us drive by. It wasn't looking at the car. It was looking through the window, and it was looking right at me. Whatever it was intelligent and knew that the car was not moving by itself. It knew that we were inside. I drove slowly, turning my head to keep eye contact with it as we drove by, and it did the same, craning its neck to watch me leave. My boyfriend couldn't see it past me at this point. Eventually, it was out of our vision, and I looked back at the road. We are both completely silent. I'm driving less than 10 kilometers an hour. Haven't taken my foot off the gas when I saw something in the road, and to this day, I don't really tell people because they just laugh it off or try to explain it as an albino starving bear or something. Now, this year, next experience, 2020, his parents were visiting just before winter hit. They have a dog. Me and his mom were having a smoke on the deck, which is about 6 feet off the ground. It's dusk. There's not that much light. We're on the left side of the deck, the same side we would turn onto the road to go to town. You can see a patch of woods where the creature would have been before. So this incident happened in the same little area. I hear a bunch of cracking twigs and the dogs go nuts. The dog is small, so we were surprised when it almost jumped off the deck and ran into the woods. My boyfriend comes out just in time, and we see just beyond the trees, so obscured, tall, lanky white form, but we couldn't see anything else definitive. And his mom had terrible eyesight. Zilla, thank you so much. Terrible eyesight and did not have glasses. I know it was the same creature. I got this twisting feeling in my gut. We do not leave our house at night. Maybe it's weird, but I want to see it again. I used to think, wow, these stories are cool, so I believe in them. It was nothing compared to the odd terror I felt when we made eye contact with this thing. I was positive it was not natural. I literally think about this thing every single day, and it can actually bring me to tears because it scares me so bad. Clint, what's up, buddy? Zilla, thank you so much. See if I missed anybody that popped in. Poppy from Sweden, Camo Dad. What's going on, my friend? How are you? Johnny Sumner. So that experience was interesting because the lady thinks about it so much. And I was thinking about when I read it before the live, I was like, this is a good one. She is obsessed with it. If you think about it, she saw it once. She was not afraid of it. She literally stared at this thing, dead ass, eye to eye, like it was Brad shit or something. And she was not afraid. She sees it again. She probably thought about it a lot after that or before that, between the time she first saw it to the time with her mother-in-law. And now that's all she does is think about this thing. So it may have a hold on her. And I thought back about, for some reason, that experience about that little kid that had never heard of reptilians or aliens or anything and talked about getting abducted by a reptilian man. I thought about that, and I thought about like maybe this thing is going to be abducting her, or maybe it has, and that's why she keeps thinking about it and having these kind of like, she wants to see it, but yeah, she goes to tears and she cries. So it's kind of weird. What's up, Edbot? How are you? Thank you very much. Money Shot, I do have a portal tonight. I have a portal, my friend. Brandy Mitchell, how are you? Boheka, how are you? I hope I pronounced your name right. Ginger Beard. Tanks Channel, how are you? I appreciate that you're here with us. What's up, Spaghettis? Pescetti guy, Southern Ontario Sasquatch, how are you? So, really quick, because I'm waiting for Victor's book to be published, Mr. Haunted, Jimmy Patanito, he asked me if I would write a chapter in his book that he's putting out. There he is. What's up, my brother? How are you? Haha, Aramek. Lucinda, how are you? I was just talking about you, Aramek. Thank you, 3Cat. I want to thank you so much for that gift. I don't know if you saw the upload I did thanking you. I hope you did. But wow, thank you so much. It was that t-shirt is freaking amazing. I love the t-shirt. Thank you. Just cool. But so I'm doing a chapter, maybe more than one, I don't know, but he wants me to put in the story about Kirk, his experience that he had on Mount Shasta, and then him unaliving himself because 30 years later, or almost 30 years later, because of the stress and stuff of everything he had seen, and he wants me to put that in that book. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm really excited because, you know, to me, Jimmy Patanito is a celebrity. You know, like he worked with Ed and Lorraine Warren. He was their camera guy. Like, fucking crazy. I don't know. What's up, Zach? How are you? Car goes by farting. Yvette, how are you? I'll be sending you one for free, Aramek. You will get one for free. Just because of all the amazing generosity you have shown this channel, and you are a true friend. What's up, Andy Davis? You dirty dog, you. Rum Runner. I heard that, Mary Angel. I heard he was quite the puckered hole. I met the kid. There's a kid that he messed with and like tried to ruin his career. Him and his sister. I met them. Johnny Ohm, thank you so much, my friend. I met them, and I got three right now. Tanks. The brother and sister, I met them. They were really nice, and I don't know how people can be so mean to, you know, like Zach Baggins is like, he is just money. You know what I mean? Like, I realized how fake he was when he did the Demon House movie, and that dude wore glasses since he probably came out of the womb. He was probably that dorky little kid that had fucking glasses when he was like 3 years old, picking his ass in his nose. And like when he did the Demon House, he's like, that house is so haunted that I had to get glasses because of it. No, you wore glasses prior. The house was definitely haunted. But like you like had to, I wear glasses now because of Demon House. When years prior you were wearing glasses. Turbo Christ, what's up? Brian, I'm glad that you're here with us. What's up, Randy, man? Dis, how are you? Maybe he never had one, Michael Torres. Maybe he never had one. Have you got a favorite Hammer horror movie? I don't know, like favorite Hammer horror movie. I don't know what that means, but I do have a favorite horror movie. I like found footage. I like found footage because I think my dad is doing great. Thank you, Randy, man. I'll fill you guys in a minute on that. I like found footage. Lon Chaney. Oh, like old horror movies. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. I like old classic movies. Like I don't like old horror movies. If I gotta watch like a black and white movie, my favorite black and white movie is Grapes of Wrath and Arsenic and Old Lace. Those are my two favorite black and white movies. They're not horror, but my favorite two old movies. I'm not really a big fan of old black and white horror because they don't scare me. I think it's cheesy. That's just me. I'm so glad that we evolved in movie making. But I like do you like the movie Ginger Snaps? Never seen it. I like that the High Desert. I like the High Desert 1, 2, and 3. I like that. That's a pretty cool concept. Feral humans living in the desert. I just wish they didn't kill the handicap boy off. Because that's, but that's a good movie. Salem's Lot. I like the new one better. I don't know. I like the new one better. The new one's way better. Alan Howell, how are you? Descent is amazing. I love The Descent. The Descent is great. Good movie. Ginger Snaps. What is it about? Is it about werewolf? What is Ginger Snaps about? To me, it sounds like a red-haired porno movie. It scares me. What are you guys doing to me? Werewolves. Okay. Ginger Snaps. Are there cookies called that? That's like all of a sudden Ginger Snaps walks in on the porn set. Ha Hell yeah, baby. Just teasing. All right, let's I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out. My brain does not work normally. It just doesn't, like, I don't know. What's up, Norman Comics? Black Eyed Kids experience for us all. My husband and I had a weird encounter with what I do believe was a black-eyed kid in the past winter. Day after Christmas, 2013, we decided to get out of the house and take a walk. We enjoy walking the trails at Cohen's Gap State Park here in Fulton County, PA. It wasn't too cold, so we decided to take a short drive to this park. The park completely void of people in the winter, unless there is snow for skiers and ice skaters on the lake. But we were alone. At least we thought we were alone. We're walking on the trail that passes several of the rental cabins. After a while, we took a short break, sat down at a picnic table located in a cabin pavilion. We're discussing how quiet it was when I noticed 4 children walking toward us. As they approached, I noticed their eyes, especially the taller and older boy, very dark with large irises. There was, I believe, 2 boys, 2 girls of various ages, all wore light jackets. When they reached us, the older boy asked, "Do you live here?" My husband answered, "No, this is a rental cabin." There was no reaction. One of the girls, who was very pale, reached into her jacket pocket and pulled out a pack of cigarettes and lit one. This girl was no older than 10 years old. My husband asked her, "Aren't you a little young to be smoking?" The girl looked at him, and I swear her eyes got darker and larger. She gave him a scowl that he and I will remember for the rest of our lives. It was so vile and foreboding. I was immediately scared. Then they turned on a dime together and started to walk away. Speechless and shaking, my husband says, "Let's go." We briskly walked in the opposite direction toward our car. I was still very frightened and wanted to go straight home. We pulled out onto the road and headed east toward our home, which is only a half a mile away from the park. A few days later, we are driving to Chambersburg to do some shopping. We needed to first stop at the post office in Fort Loudon to mail a few packages. My husband walked into the post office while I sat in the car. After a few moments, I noticed the same 4 kids walking through the post office parking lot. Just seeing them sent chills down my spine. When my husband returned to the car, I told him what happened and that I wanted to go home. Since that time, I have suffered terrible episodes of anxiety and fear. My doctor has prescribed me medication, and I still have panic attacks that I will encounter those kids again. Yeah, not cool. Not cool. Not cool. I don't like them. Oh, what did I miss? What did I miss? I'm trying to figure out who to say hi to. Aramek, I will let you know that I have a Alan Howell. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. People don't realize, like, I literally printed every email we have, like, this right here is every email that Victor had shared with me, every encounter, every kind of back and forth conversation that he and I ever had. I printed out and saved on a flashcard just because I needed to make sure I kept it for the first time. What's up, Frank? Thank you for joining us. Aramek, thank you, my friend. It's all right. It's comfortable. I got it at Staples. Did you die? You died. Damn it. Ugh. Yep. Time for a new jewel. Ugh. Of course, that one didn't charge. So, no, not a new chair. Old chair. Same chair, different day. Same chair, different day. So, Randall Kennedy, thank you very much. So, what I wanted to say was, Aramek, George Coker, how are you? I have changed my mind about the book. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. And it reminds me of a book that I used to have at my aunt's house. That when I used to go on the powwow circuit with her, I would bring it with me and read. And it talked a lot about Native American shapeshifters, shamans, and stuff, and how they would resemble what we view as clowns now. And I the only thing is the back of the book and how he was like, how he wrote that, and he was kind of full of himself because Stephen Quayle beat him to the punch on that. Other than that, I think the book's awesome. So thank you, Aramek. Michelle, thank you so much. Randall Kennedy and Michelle, thank you so much, guys. All right. It definitely did. Definitely did. I have to, like, the tricksters. So Native American tricksters would look in petroglyphs. They would be depicted as like clowns, essentially. And that's what some of the things remind me of. just that back of the thing. But other than that, it's fucking cool. I like it a lot, and I really appreciate that. I will say the translation of the scriptures is way better than that book, though. It is fucking way better. What's up, 420? Is it time for a lot lizard story? I'm just going to let you decide. We can wait. We can go. We can wait. We can go. Lot lizard. I just need 3 yeses, and we're doing it. That counts as a yes. Yes. Jane, you already did yes. All right. We're doing it. All right. We'll start with the first one that I wrote this morning. This is the first one that, oh, God damn it. Let me write that down. That'll be next week. Wait. I think I have one. I think I did one, actually. I think I might have. I thought about it. The swirling neon of the Big Rig Oasis truck stops. Oh, anyone who is new to the live stream, there's a joke. It's a running joke. It's been a running joke since this live stream has started. The lot lizard, which is a truck stop prostitute, is the worst and most dreaded cryptid in the world. They have venom. They spit it at you. They have carried diseases and all sorts of just. But I write fictional stories about them, and I usually share 2 or 3 just to make it really interesting. Aramark! Thank you, my friend. And I got a story for you right after that. So these are fictional. These are the only fictional stories I share on this channel, and that is because I want to have fun with you guys. The swirling neon of the Big Rig Oasis truck stop sliced through the New Jersey night, painting the rain-slickened asphalt in lurid hues. Inside, the greasy spoon hummed with a low thrum of idling engines and weary sighs of long-haul truckers. Tonight, however, a different kind of weariness hung in the air. Lizzo, a name whispered with a mixture of apprehension and amusement throughout the oasis, adjusted her sequenced top. She wasn't your typical Jersey Shore girl. No, she was built like a brick shithouse, had a voice that could and would curdle milk, and a heart, surprisingly, made of gold. Business had been slow lately. The air felt heavy, not just with humidity, but with something else. Earl, a regular and gentle giant in plaid, lumbered in, his brow furrowed deeper than the ruts in the parking lot. Lizzo, honey, he said, his voice low rumble. Something ain't right here. Keep your wits about you. Lizzo scoffed, but a shiver did run down her spine. Earl was not one for melodrama. What's got your rig in a twist, Earl? He pointed with a trembling finger toward a cluster of truckers huddled near a coffee machine. They're saying the bathroom is acting up, doors slamming, voices whispering, and things touching them. Lizzo rolled her eyes. Guys will say anything to get a freebie, Earl. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The oasis had always been a little unsettling. Rumor had it years ago. A crooked accountant had cooked the books and then choked on a donut in the back office. They said his spirit still haunts the place, occasionally rearranging the sugar packets. But this was different. Suddenly, a scream ripped through the diner. Big Joe, a burly trucker, known for his iron stomach and the love of chili dogs, came barreling out of the bathroom, his face white as a napkin. They touched me, he shrieked, clutching his backside. They pinched me. The diner erupted in chaos, truckers scrambling under tables, clutching their wallets and crucifixes. Lizzo, however, stood firm. This was her turf, and she was not about to let some spectral pervert ruin her Friday evening. All right, listen up, you chuckleheads, she bellowed, her voice cutting through the din. Nobody panic. Earl, grab me a mop. I'm going to deal with these ghosts the only way I know how. Armed with a mop, Lizzo marched toward the bathroom, a warrior queen ready to defend her honor. The door slammed shut in her face. She rattled the handle. All right, you ectoplasmic freak. I know you're in there. Come out with your hands up, or I will mop the floor with your incorporeal butts. A chorus of giggles echoed from within. The bathroom door creaked open, revealing nothing. But then the toilet paper roll sailed across the room, narrowly missing Lizzo's head. Oh, it's on, she roared. For the next hour, the Big Rig Oasis became a scene straight out of the paranormal circus. Lizzo, wielding a mop like a weapon, chased the ghost troublemakers through the diner. Dishes flew off the shelf, ketchup bottles squirted with indecent precision, and trucker hats levitated in the air. She cornered them in the kitchen, where they were attempting to sabotage the deep fryer. All right, you slimy specters, she yelled, brandishing the mop. I'm going to give you at least one last chance to apologize to Big Joe and leave this establishment in peace. The ghost, a motley crew of giggling, leering poltergeists, materialized before her. They were translucent, mischievous, and surprisingly small. They looked like they hadn't seen daylight in decades. What's wrong, honey? One of them rasped, his voice wheezing whisper. You don't like a little fun? Lizzo's eyes narrowed. Fun? Pinching ass ain't fun. You're harassing people. You're disrupting my business. Then an idea struck her. She lowered her mop, a sly grin spreading across her face. Tell you what, she said, I'll make a deal with you. You leave these good truckers alone, and I'll entertain you. I'll tell you stories. I'll even sing you songs. The ghosts huddled together, whispering amongst themselves. After a moment, their leader turned back to Lizzo. A song? He asked, his voice laced with skepticism. What kind of song? Lizzo puffed up her chest. A song about glories of New Jersey, about the turnpike and the diners and hairspray. The ghosts were silent for a moment, then burst into a chorus of delighted cackles. And so, for the next hour, Lizzo belted out her rendition of Born to Run, interspersed with tales of the Jersey Shore shenanigans in the best pizza places in the state. The ghosts were captivated, their mischievous energy replaced with childlike wonder. Finally, as the first rays of dawn peeked through the grimy windows, the poltergeist faded away, leaving behind only a lingering smell of mothballs and cheap cologne. The Big Rig Oasis was a mess, but the truckers were safe, and Lizzo was their hero. Earl clapped her on the back. Lizzo, you are a legend. Lizzo, covered in ketchup and dish soap, simply shrugged. Just another night in New Jersey, Earl. Just another night. She glanced at the rising sun inside. Now who's going to help me clean up this place? The glories of Jersey. Lizzo is a dirty girl. She's always getting ketchup on her. Thank you. Thank you. What happened with Janie? Janie, okay, so Janie just said the moon is not in the same spot that it's supposed to be. That is true. Thank you, Aramik. Thank you, guys. I want to tell you something. Listen to this shit. Go look at the moon, all right? When the moon is like a gibbous, and tell me why the moon looks the way it does. And it didn't look like that when I was a kid. It honestly, so when you go and see the moon, not tonight, but when it's like the waning gibbous, you'll see what I'm saying. Look at the moon and think about is there something behind it? Like, it doesn't look real. I had showed it to my youngest daughter, Isabel, and her boyfriend one night, and they both literally were like, wait, what? And they kept looking, and they were like, holy shit, it does look really strange. Like, it does not look like the same moon that I saw when I was a kid. Like, there's something different with it. It's fucking weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old and seeing things, but it's fucking weird. Alligator horse, how are you, my friend? The mop is a serious weapon, Zach. Well, Aramic, what's up, Cryptic Cooper? Not Aramic. Zilla, 92. There is definitely, like, I'm not a flat earther. And I don't down flat earthers because we all have our own, like, beliefs on things. I accept you as a flat earther. You know, I'm not going to knock you for your belief just because I don't believe the earth is flat. It'd be like you knocking me for thinking it's round. But there is something fucking weird with the moon. Like, it's just not cool. Like, it's just fucking weird, man. It's I don't know. What's up, Widmore? How are you, buddy? I'm in Saskatchewan, and the moon is, yeah, dude. Yeah. Ooh, you got a burble? Lizzo hails from somewhere unimaginable, George Coker. Unimaginable. She's got a couple sisters. My dad my dad heard last week's lot lizard stories. I played them for him, and he laughed his ass off. My dad came up with an idea, and I'm going to do it next week maybe. But my dad's like, what if Lizzo had sisters? And I'm like, that's a good idea, Jim. I'm like, that's a damn good idea. So, Jimmer, Lizzo's got sisters. What's up, Heath? Actually, the cornucopia in Fruit of the Looms, that has been proven to be true. No, Lizzo does not have a mom. What's up, Wrecked Hearse? What's up, Wrecked Hearse? How are you? No, Lizzo does not have a mom. And that cornucopia, you know how they say, like, the cornucopia? I really think the government is fucking with us with this Mandela effect thing. There's, like, they mess with us terribly. Like, and I think what happened was they tried to pull the wool on us. Now I'm going, let me get my aluminum foil cap. I don't know, but I think that I think they underestimated our intelligence, and we can see through their bullshit. Oh, that's so much better. American Coke? Mexican Coke. A cornucopia? The cornucopia is it's that kind of basket with fruit in it. It's like what's on the Pilgrims picnic table when they had Thanksgiving. In the Fruit of the Loom label, yep. It kind of looks like this with a bunch of fruit in it. And I have a song for you guys tonight. I have an amazing song. And you will never guess it, I guarantee. Maybe. Aramic, this one goes out to you and your fascination of the Mothman and the extensive research you have done to provide us with the vast information we have of the Mothman. So thank you. A few years ago, I was attending the University of Alabama. I was walking back to my dorm at around 2 or 3 in the morning, if I remember correctly. The sky was beautiful and filled with stars, so I decided to lie on my back in the quad to ponder about the universe's vastness. All of a sudden, I see this massive black figure with wings about 75 yards above me swiftly and silently fly over and past me. At first, I thought it was a bird, but the closer I looked, the more it resembled a man with wings or an angel. Impossible, I thought to myself as I stood up. Looked in the direction it was going and briefly reassured that I was not going crazy by watching the figure disappear. I ran to a man in the parking lot and asked him if he had seen it, but he was not paying attention to the sky, not to mention this thing was flying silently and was a silhouette. I was absolutely baffled for the week afterward. The day after, I used this experimental app that is like a local global chat room, meaning anybody can post anything, but it was only local 1 mile. I posted onto the app if anybody had seen anything strange at around 2 or 3 in the morning. I mentioned the exact time in the post, but I can't remember now because it was a few years ago. Keep in mind, I did not mention if anybody had seen anything weird in the sky. I did not mention if anybody had seen a figure with wings. I simply asked if anyone had seen anything strange at around 2 or 3 in the morning on Sunday. Or whatever day it was, I believe Saturday, verbatim. To my surprise and relief, somebody mentioned they saw a large winged figure flying silently in the sky with large red eyes. I have chills now. I thought, this guy must be tripping, but then 4 or 5 more people started to mention and describe what I had witnessed. One person said it was standing in front of a building with red laser-like eyes. I did not see the red eyes, but the fact that multiple people mentioned what I had seen, a large winged figure, without me mentioning any details other than has anyone seen anything strange around this time of day, is enough proof for me to believe what I had seen with my own eyes, and I will never forget. After doing research on this red-eyed winged man, I came to the conclusion that I had an encounter with the Mothman. And strangely enough, I encountered a moth graffiti under an overpass, taken a less beaten path. Hang on. And strangely enough, I encountered a moth graffitied under an overpass, taken a less beaten path. My roommates and people I mentioned it to said that I was crazy and drunk, so I have kept this to myself. This gave me a whole new perspective on the supernatural and was reality check as to how much we do not know as a human species. Even though we make jets, guns, buildings that heighten our narcissistic ego, doesn't mean we know everything about the planet we live on and or the universe. My girlfriend has also seen something similar to this. A large winged creature swooped from a tree line crossing the road in front of her truck one night. She said it was huge, dark, like I described. She was sober and solid-minded. Always has been. She grew up going to this area all the time. This took place down a dirt road leading to a game preserve on Lake Erie, next to a nuclear power plant, the Enrico Fermi NPP in Newport, Michigan. Nuclear reactors are visible from where this happened. Not sure if that's related, but it makes me wonder. I've heard of a few other similar experiences in the same area. We spend a lot of time there during the summer. I'm always watching for something. Since I am going already, I'll share the second one that she saw. This was in the same location as the flying creature, about a half mile further down that road, where it ends at Lake Erie. It's a huge swampland protected from the lake with a man-made dike built by the Army in the 50s, I think, around that time. It was January and the dikes were frozen solid. Her and her 2 friends decided to take a drive down to see the frozen lake at night. They were all teens and all sober. They parked and started to walk out over the frozen dike. There was a large pile of ice break, which isn't very uncommon, about 50 yards from shore. They went out to check it out. They got 30 yards away They noticed a large dark silhouette seated on the face of the ice pile. This object then slipped straight down into the water, making an audible slide and splash sound. I'm assuming there was a hole in the ice formed from the pile. They all ran. They all saw it. It wasn't an otter. It was big. It was big, they claimed, like a person size. They didn't investigate the ice pile or tracks or signs. They did not see the hole because they were so terrified. There were no other cars in the parking lot. I personally believe this is related to that flying creature we all saw. Aramic, thank you so much. You member gifting, blessing, mother. Johnny Ohm, I do remember that. I do remember, Luke, I am your father. I do. And then they lied to us. We had an earthquake today. Nick Hendricks, whereabouts? What's up, Juno? How are you tonight? Hopefully. Aramic is always dropping the big stick. Almost. Yes, please. We are way behind. That's just another strange thing that's happening to the channel lately. That's just another strange thing. I just want to check something. Yeah. Is Pups? Has anyone seen Pups? I haven't seen Pups. Not yet. Me neither. It's weird. Aramic, you always share the love. You share the love and you don't go bareback, and I appreciate that, my friend. $20 says that $20. Car going by. I don't want to get in trouble. That came out terrible. Damn it, that was terrible. Thank you, Zilla. Toot that horn. No, it was not the Gremlins theme, but I can see it. It was supposed to be Send Me an Angel from 1989, but the real life would beat the shit out of me with their little gnarled up, little creepy hands. I'm just going to say it was a Full House theme. Yeah. Rad the movie, baby. You know it. Rad. All right. Someone asked about portals earlier today, and that's what I'm going to give y'all right now. This one is creepy. Hang on a second. I got powder on. I got cornstarch tonight, and it's not working, okay? The cornstarch didn't work. What's up, 50,000 doctor? I was driving my wife, my then fiance, to work one night, crossing a railroad track in our car. It was an older, metal-bodied Chevrolet Celebrity. As we crossed the tracks, the roof of the car was struck by lightning, which is when the paranormal event began. As the light filled my vision, I wasn't in the vehicle anymore or myself. I was somewhere in someone else. I lived in that life day in and day out for what felt like weeks, maybe longer. I lost track of the days. I went to sleep beside my wife one night, same as every night, and instead of waking there, I was driving at night and could see the last of the flash of light leaving my vision. I almost wrecked the car out of sheer shock. I didn't know where I was. And then it began flooding back. I was where I began. My wife, once again, then fiance, was completely oblivious to what happened to me and thought the lightning had startled me. At the time, I was 20 years old. It wasn't a vision of the future because we had a daughter when it happened. In my alternate life, my wife and I had 2 boys and a girl. The boys were 30 and 24, and the oldest had a daughter, while my youngest son and had a son of his own. My daughter, there was a senior in high school. It's actually tough to talk about this because for me, I lived that life. I was in the late 60s with all the memories and experiences of life. I didn't tell my fiance of this life because it took a while for me to process and grieve. I never got to say goodbye or anything. It was just gone. Yet, still alive back in this life. What's weirder, still a second similar mini event had happened when I was driving with a co-driver for a refrigerated company. My co-driver was driving and I was sleeping. While I slept, I experienced what I had to been in the alternate future. I was coming home from the road and greeted by my 3 kids, our oldest daughter, and the same as the previous event, and 2 twin girls. One, which was 100 feet from me, the other didn't exist to me before this event. The twins both hugged me, and I was so happy to see them. I remember saying how much they had grown in the last month, and in the event, I called them Callie and Allie. I woke up after that and burst into tears because I was overwhelmed. I had an overwhelming feeling that I had a daughter who was lost to me, and I called my wife. Silence. She was shocked and almost whispered, and I could hear the tone in her voice that told me she was both angry and sad. She said, "How do you know that name?" What I had never known was that my youngest was supposed to be a twin, and my wife had miscarried one day when she thought she was spotting heavily. She didn't know she was pregnant till around 22 weeks, and the day happened about a week before. When our youngest was born, she had delivered a second full placenta, and since I was between Paris and Longview, Texas, trying to get me and my truck home that night, she felt better not to tell me. When we named our youngest, my wife didn't want our unborn daughter not to have a name, so she named her Allison, or as she affectionately remembered, Allie. I haven't talked to many people about these events, and I am sure many will believe I am faking the validity as it was very personal experience. But paranormal isn't something that can be explained. I can't explain how either the event happened. I just have to live with the memories of them and the tears for those I lost. Dude, how weird is that? So that experience reminded me of, I don't know, I know you guys listen to Joe Rogan, a lot of you guys do, and I'm sure you've heard him talk about Ari Shaffir. And he had smoked salva. And when he smoked it, he went kind of like in this alternate world, and he was living underwater with a wife and kids, and he was out of it for like 10-15 seconds. But when he came back, it was like a whole lifetime. and he remembered it, and he was saddened by it, just like this guy. But how crazy is it that this guy didn't even know that he had another child, like, and then to find out that your wife had a miscarriage, your twin, that it's just, that's fucking crazy. You called 911 on yourself? I remember they used to sell that shit in the in like smoke shops and stuff. I'm not sure, Orion. I know I have some pretty interesting ones. I was actually too afraid to do it. What's up, Salty Rant? How are you? You were on the Joe Rogan Experience, Thomas? Send me an email. I got to talk to you. I want to hear about this. Oh, it was on the road. Yeah, yes. I misread it. I'm like, wait a second. I had a fucking moment there. Thanks, Omega Mofo. They're actually Mexican Coke, but I think they're probably reused. Because every once in a while, when I take a drink of it, I taste like a big chubby Mexican man spit every once in a while. Because I know they reuse Coke bottles in Mexico. Wouldn't that be fucking gross? Ew. You can send me an email, brother. You know who hasn't been here in a while? Fucking Gringo. Where is Gringo, that sexy motherfucker? Or fucking, where is fucking Neek? I miss him too. I miss all my friends. Chubby Mexican. Ew. All right. I got something good for you guys tonight. Are you ready to be scared? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to scare you. There we go. I was an FMV, an analyst from 2012 to 18. We were doing pre-op in northeast Afghanistan, searching for patterns of life on damn near every warm body we saw. We watched to see if we could ID any weapons. After 20 minutes, what we thought were two dudes huddled together under a blanket stood up. This guy made the rest of the dudes look like children in the terms of height. He stood up and walked over to the mud hut. He had to bend way over to get in. He was at least 9 feet tall. While stationed in Kandahar province, United States Army infantry team leader was tasked with overseeing a village suspected of being a hotspot for IEDs. The mission itself was standard: observe, report, and engage if necessary. However, this assignment would be far from routine. I was deployed as an infantry team leader in the Kandahar province of Afghanistan, 2008 to 9. One night, we sat in an observation patrol to overlook the village we had suspected as IEDs were coming out of. Due to a successful IED recovery a few weeks prior, my lieutenant gave me a new thermal imaging system called Recon 3. I started to look across the valley, and that led me to look along a spur we were sitting on, and I saw a very large heat signature at the top of one of the fault's peaks. I did everything I could do to get a clear image of it, as I was suspecting it was a group of Afghan huddled together around light, as they tend to do in the mountains. Thank you, Aretha. All of a sudden, the heat signature stood up and was one being. The trees in that area grew up to about 12 feet in height. This thing was at least as tall, if not taller, than the trees that surrounded it. It started taking steps parallel to my position and covering the ground quickly with ease. Its stride was slow and relaxed, yet it moved with incredible speed that led me to believe that this creature was gigantic. It very quickly traversed the landscape, and I lost sight of it along a neighboring spur. I did not believe what I saw initially, assuming I had imagined it. I never had seen anything like this in my life. Many soldiers have reported that they were aware of other reports from foreigners in Afghanistan describing encounters of red-headed giants, including the infamous Giant of Kandahar account. One particular U.S. commander mentioned the local Afghan tradition of men dyeing their hair, and the hair of their goats bright orange was a practice he had initially dismissed as a cultural oddity. However, he later began to believe it was some kind of ritual rooted in worship of these giant ancient beings. Another similar anomaly reported in northern Afghanistan, this time captured through the lens of a Reaper drone. I was in the northern part of the country scanning around, doing my thing and looking at stuff. I found a super small mud hut, which is where I saw the giants. There were 3, maybe 4 meters tall. There is a ruler tool that tells you how wide your crosshair is, and the people were as tall as the crosshair wide. The few mud huts were extremely rudimentary, like it was a mound with some holes for a door and windows. They didn't do anything crazy, just normal people things, tending to fire, other chores. I wish I could say they did something exciting, but really just mopped around their small clearing. There were a few goats tied up in a fire that one person was tending to. It's hard to tell details, but they seemed to be wearing rugged clothing. I would guess similar to Afghan tradition wear. They seemed heavily cloaked. The only interesting thing was their size. The goats looked like cats next to them. This was all infrared at night, so they showed up like black humanoid heat signatures. I wish I could have used our daytime cam. I always wondered if they had red hair, and I only monitored them for like 10 minutes before we were too far away to see. I was an intel officer in the Australian Army at the time, deployed in the Uruzgan province. I was on PK, what you Yanks would call security or sentry. In the early hours one morning, I was scanning across the valley with our thermal imaging, looking for threats, and I saw a large human-like figure that looked different from normal because it didn't have the usual clothes Afghans would wear. It looked like a person, but lankier. It walked behind a few compounds, and I could see it from the chest up. That is when I noticed its size. I thought it was around 600 meters away, but when I did a more detailed scan, as it was so also unusual to see an individual people at that time of night, I realized it was further away, so I adjusted to get the range and was shocked to find out that it was 1,800 meters away. Excuse me. It wasn't in any hurry, and I followed it for about 5 minutes before it went out of my field of view. It was just walking. It kept looking up, especially near the compound. I have no idea what it was, but it would have been at least 4 meters in height. I don't know if anyone else saw this thing. I never told anyone about it, and it stayed with me over all of these years. I shared that a long time ago. I shared that, a while ago, and I had shared it when I combined it with. So we all know. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a. Hang on one second. I'm trying to pull it up. So let me try to find it. It's a hard book to find. Stephen Quayle, Giant of Kandahar book. It's not that. Long Walkers. Long Walkers by Stephen Quayle. Now, people have asked like where that story came from, the Kandahar giant story, because like you just hear it, you know. And a lot of people have shared it. So you're like, well, where did it come from? Stephen Quayle wrote that book, Long Walkers. Now, the book itself, and he says this book is fictional, and it's based off of a letter he received from the helicopter pilot that actually did carry the Kandahar giant. He shared and disclosed all the information of that night and day. And then Stephen Quayle decided, hey, you know, I think what I'll do is I'll write this fictional book, but I'll let everyone know, hey, it's fictional. And I'll include that letter in that book. And that's how we know about the Kandahar giant story, which is kind of interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, Turbo Christ. I love maps too. I did not know that. Night, Randy. Randy man. Oh, Randy man. Good night, baby. Well, so my true sense asked what happened to Dark Waters. Dark Waters is still Dark Waters. He just decided that he wanted to broaden his horizons. He still believes and knows that these things exist. I think he felt burnt out, talking about Dogman, talking about all this stuff for so long, and I think he felt burnt out. But I know he wanted to broaden and show, you know, you guys and more people what he actually was capable of doing. So that's why his channel changed. I think it's still great. I still love him. Arabic, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good seeing you, Mountain Dew. Good seeing you. I'm glad to be seen. Glad to be seen. Arabic. I read that, Turbo Christ. They're finding a lot of very interesting stuff. Thank you, Arabic. They're finding a lot of very interesting things nowadays. But yeah, that's what happened to James. You know, I don't know if James will do it again. He let everybody know, though. He did let everyone know. He said to people in interviews, he said, "What's up, Jersey Night Cat? How are you, dear?" He said, "I am going to be expanding my horizons on this channel." And it's just something that I think he needed to do it for himself. You know what I mean? To keep his sanity, which I'm happy for him. I'm happy for his growth, you know? Wiley, what's up, buddy? Brahms biscuit and gravy. My daughter and her boyfriend make sausage biscuits and gravy. They make some damn good. Her boyfriend knows how to cook that shit good too. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. All the ladies out there, happy Mother's Day to you guys. Southern Charmer. Turbo Christ, how did you know? Oh my God. No, I'm just kidding. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there who is a mom. Thank you for bringing children into this earth. That's pretty much it. Pretty much it, True Sons. Yeah, he actually said, "I'm gifting you the throne now." No, I'm kidding. I'm nowhere like there's better channels than I am. So happy Mother's Day to all the ladies out there, and thank you for everything that you guys do for your children. I'll show you. I got my mom obviously something more, but I got my mom this paper wonder. It like unfolds to this bouquet, but I got her other stuff. I got her plants to plant in her yard. She likes bushes, so I got her some bushes that I'm going to plant. Last year I planted 6 azalea plants, but this sings the song "Happy" by Pharrell. It's a mom thing, right? I wish it sang like Slayer. It'll death. My mom opens her fucking book or her card, and Metallica, "To Whom the Bell Tolls" is playing for her. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry, SDL. I'm sorry. What's up, Carrie Gale? How are you? I've seen older maps. I've seen things like that. Yes. I don't think we could ever make Metallica great again. Definitely not. Yeah, yeah, Rex Horse. Definitely. We could never make them great again. They all turned into Karens. They're all Karens. And if there's any Karen here tonight, I'm not saying you're like they're the Karen. Metallica who? Metallica Karen. At the time, we lived in Noble County, Oklahoma. I was 15 years old. I'm 45 now, so it was a long time ago. I had been asleep. I woke up feeling like my mouth was as dry as sandpaper. I went to the pisser for some water, and when I came out, I was facing the bedroom's windows wet. Ugh, never mind. Hang on. Okay. At the time, we lived in Noble County, Oklahoma. I was 15. I'm 45 now, so it was a long time ago. I'd been asleep and I woke up feeling like my mouth was as dry as sandpaper. I went to the bathroom for some water, and when I came out, I was facing my bedroom's west window. We lived on 16 acres, and only the space around the house was kept mowed. Everything else grew wild. It was around 2 or 3 in the morning. The first thing I saw was red reflective eyes, not brilliant like red light shining, more muted like a reflection. Only there wasn't anything on that side of the house. I went to the window to see what could be there, and I saw it standing perfectly still where the yard edge met the tall brush. Standing slightly sideways, I could see the front arm hanging down, staring directly at me, staring into my eyes. It did not look like a deer standing on its back legs. We always saw deer around our property. This was not that. This was something else. I remember the fear that went through me, overwhelming and hard to breathe because it was watching me. This was pre internet, so I had never heard of things like Skinwalker, Dogman, or whatever. But I did know what demonic meant, and this thing definitely was that. I could see its breath because it was cold. So there were clouds of condensation as it exhaled. Other than breathing, it did not move for a solid 5 minutes. I remember stepping off to the side of my window, hoping to see it, but it didn't see me. But it does not see me. It didn't move and continued to stare at my window. After a bit, it turned and walked into the brush. It walked like a man, not like a deer. It had a human like form. I was shaking from fear, and I remember going to sleep in my older brother's room. Of course, he was pissed the next morning and asked why I was in his room. I told him what I had seen, described it in full detail. After getting ready for school, we went outside to that side of the house, and we could see the path this creature took away from our house. Just some brush that had been pushed down as if something or someone walked through the grass that hadn't been touched for a long time. There were no hoof prints. The brush was too tall and too thick to see anyway. The brush was about at my head height, so 6 feet. And this thing stood a good 2 feet taller than that because I could see its chest and head as it walked. I asked my brother if he remembered this night, and he said he remembers it vividly. I've never seen this creature since. I've seen other odd things, but never anything like this. All right, I have a very interesting dogman encounter to share with you. When I was a little girl, my pawpaw lived in an old farmhouse at the upper end of Cleveland County, North Carolina. We used to go to visit him every Saturday. My dad, my mom, my baby brother, and I, along with the usual several of my dad's brothers and sisters and their assorted children, would congregate at my pawpaw's house. Our cousins would play together outside and out into the woods, which ran behind my papa's farm and stretched for probably 10 miles to a dirt road, beyond which was an apple orchard and cattle pasture. This was the early 80s in a rural area, back when kids could take off to the woods for hours and it was okay. We would all have dinner together and then hang out until bedtime for us kids. Then we would head home. At the time, I had just turned 8. My cousin Jay was 6. My brother and Jay's sister were both small toddlers, barely walking. The night in question, Jay and I and our little siblings were the only kids present at Pawpaw's. He and I had spent the day playing in the woods as usual, and out in the yard where Jay was trying his prized new skateboard. Now, I've shared this experience a long time ago, but I wanted to share it again because I hadn't shared it in a while. After supper, we hung out in the back bedroom watching TV until our parents informed us that it was time to go home. Papa's house had a glassed-in porch, which also served as the laundry room on the front right outside kitchen. This porch, because of the way the lot is laid out and the house was built, was fairly tall and looked out. The windows gave you a panoramic and slightly elevated view of the backyard. I would speculate that the porch windows were about 20 feet off the ground, and the backyard sloped away from the porch. The backyard was lit by 2 large lights, one which was mounted on a pole to the left, the other mounted on the side of Papa's shop, which was to the right. They were very bright, and each light lit up the fairly large area. The only really shadowy part of the backyard was the area where the large tree stood, casting a shadow that fell between the shop and the greenhouse, which was to the far left of the yard. It was under this tree that Jay had left his skateboard when we stopped playing to eat dinner, and he and I decided we should go out and get it while our parents were still saying their goodbyes in the kitchen. This creature was in the backyard. We saw him all at the same time. As soon as we entered the porch, he was man-sized and looked like a werewolf from a bad B movie. He had shaggy, dark brown, wolfman-like head with long pointed ears and a lighter brown muzzle. His hands were human-like as best as I can remember. They were covered in a dark fur, and he had long claws. I don't remember anything about his feet, whether they had claws, but his legs were straight, like a person's, not bent backward like a dog. He was walking back and forth in the yard, almost robotic-like. I can't describe it as well. It was like his legs were not moving, but not enough to actually count as walking. Larry Lindman, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate that. Thank you. Walking. It was more like he was gliding, but in a jerky way. His body was human in proportion. He would move from the edge of the light near the greenhouse across to the light near the shop, stopping when he reached the end of the illuminated area and turning around in a strange, jerky manner and gliding back. His eyes were red and glowed some like one of those laser lights you would tease cats with, that color and about that level of brightness. The only time he was out of our sight was when he passed into the shadow area of the tree. He seemed to be showing off for us, wanting us to see him, or at least that is what it felt like. The feeling that he carried with him was overwhelming malevolence. I felt like he knew we were there and could see us watching and feel that we were afraid, and he was glad. Not sure if that makes sense, but it was what I felt at the time, dread and fear, and like he was aware of us and doing what he was doing on purpose to scare us. Of course, we freaked out and started screaming for our parents. And of course, once they all rushed out onto the porch, only to hear us hysterical because the Wolfman was in the backyard. They said the usual parental things about overactive imaginations and too much Scooby-Doo. Because even though he was out there walking back and forth right in front of them, and we could both see them, none of the adults could. Holy shit, Larry Lindman, thank you so much. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And I wish you'd stay a little longer, but I know you're a busy man. Thank you. Back and forth, da-da-da. But being really frustrated because our parents couldn't see it. Finally, my dad, determined to put the end to this nonsense, announced that he was going out into the yard to get Jay's skateboard from under the tree. We tried to stop him, but he went anyway. At the time, this wolf creature was still doing that strange gliding walk back and forth. When my dad opened the porch door and hit the steps that led out from the porch to the yard, he triggered the motion sensor light, which was on the corner of the porch awning, lighting up the shadowed tree area. Just before this happened, the Wolfman had stepped into that shadowed area and disappeared from view in the dark. When the light came on, lighting up that tree area, the Wolfman was gone. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. As they say, we never saw him again, though we became mildly obsessed with werewolves for a while after that and started hoarding silver just in case we needed to make silver bullets. When you are a child, it is pretty amazing what you can consider normal. We were scared at the time it happened, but it was like afterward, it didn't feel completely real because it was so bizarre. And we sort of made a game out of it. A few weird things happened to us in those woods after that, but nothing that would be considered paranormal beyond doubt, and nothing like seeing that creature. Years passed, and I always wondered about what we saw that night. My cousin Jay forgot about it together. I asked him about it a few months back, and he didn't remember. What really brought it back to my memory was reading in Linda Godfrey's Real Werewolf about a girl who saw the hitchhiking werewolf wearing clothes. Before that, I had never seen a serious report. I don't often tell anyone about this Wolfman creature because it sounds completely crazy. Of course, my parents and Jay's parents never for 1 second believed we saw it. I don't fully know the history of the land around my granddad's house. I know that there are a lot of Catawba Indian in the area before the colonial time, and there were several strange formations in that part of the county that people claim to be Indian Mound, though none of them seem to be officially recognized. There's been several Bigfoot flats in the county as well, and Black Panther, supposedly. I have never seen both black or tan. I have seen both black and tan panther, as has my father and hunters know, though they are not, in my opinion, anything supernatural, just regular animals. I have no idea to this day what this thing was in the backyard, and it is hard to figure out. That one was good. I like that story. I've always liked that story. Nice. Ben, welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. And thank you. I'd love to hear your experiences. And hang on one second. You can contact me. The best way to contact me is I don't use Facebook. I have Facebook, obviously, but send me an email. And it's right under Zilla. But welcome to the channel, brother. Oh. I've done plenty of phone calls, Enormous. Interviews. That's how you hear the interviews. They're phone calls. Man, I can't wait till my hair is fucking long again. I hate this fucking short hair shit. What's up, Michael? How are you, buddy? Thank you, Neck. What time is it? Oh, shit. You know what time it is, right, guys? I'm doing well. Sheridan, how are you? I don't know about tonight. Yes, Zilla, you are right. It is definitely Lot Lizard time. I know Zilla, High Strangeness, and Dustin are waiting. After the Lot Lizard story, Enormous. All right, let me pick. All right, here we go. Lizzo the Lizard LeBlue, purveyor of fine companionship and occasional questionable gas station sushi, at the Starlight truck stop adjusted her sequenced halter top. The sequence acquired from a discarded Mardi Gras float in New Orleans were meant to distract from the fact that the Starlight's fluorescent light aged everyone about 20 years. Lizzo, bless her heart, needed all the distraction she could get. The Starlight was in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska. Miles and miles of cornfields on either side of the cracked highway, punctuated only by the occasional bewildered cow. It was a haven for truckers, insomniacs, and anyone trying to outrun their past. Lizzo was a bit of all three. Business was usually steady if predictable. You got your regulars, Big Joe with his collection of ceramic squirrels, Earl, who always smelled faintly of diesel and desperation, and even Pastor Phil, who insisted on spiritual counseling that always seemed to involve back rubs and suspicious loud hymns. But tonight, something was off. The air hung heavy, thick, with the smell of deep-fried regret and an unnerving silence. Even the crickets, those tireless performers of the ritual night or rural night, seemed to have taken the night off. Then she saw them. 2 kids, maybe 8 or 9 years old, standing near the fuel pump. Normal, right? Wrong. It was their eyes, coal black, no white. Just 2 pools of nothingness staring out from the pale and expressionless face. Black-eyed kids. Lizzo had heard stories whispered around crackling CB radios and greasy diner countertops. They showed up uninvited, always needing something, and their presence was guaranteed bad luck or worse. Lizzo, a woman who stared down a biker gang armed with pool cues and won, mostly by flattery and strategically placed wad of chewing gum, suddenly felt a chill run down her spine. Well, ain't you too precious, she said, forcing a smile that felt more like a grimace. Lost, are you? The kids didn't speak. They just stared. One of them pointed a bony finger toward the entrance of the truck stop. We need to use the phone, one rasped, his voice like sandpaper on glass. Lizzo swallowed. The phone? Sure, darling. Right inside, past the gentleman's magazines, she gestured vaguely. They started moving, gliding more than walking. Lizzo watched them go, her mind racing. This couldn't be good. Black-eyed kids in starlight during a slow night? It was like something out of a cheap horror movie, only with more trucker hats. She decided to follow them, armed with nothing but her wits and a half-eaten bag of cheese puffs. She sulked behind them as they entered the truck stop. Inside, Earl was arguing loudly with the cashier about the price of Slim Jims, and Big Joe was trying to teach a stray cat to play checkers. Normal starlight chaos. The kids went straight to the payphone, the one that smelled faintly of urine and broken dreams. Lizzo crept closer, pretending to admire a rotating display of dashboard hula girls. Yes, one of the kids whispered into the receiver. We need the package. Lizzo's eyes widened. The package? What package? Suddenly, the cheese puffs felt heavy in her stomach. Then the kid spoke again, his voice even more unsettling. Yes, we are at the Starlight with the lizard. Lizzo froze. They knew about her? This is getting weird and smelly. That payphone really did need a good scrubbing. Suddenly, Earl, mid Slim Jim trade, stopped. His eyes widened. He looked at Lizzo, then at the kids. Lizzo, he whispered, his voice trembling. Don't let them have a package. Lizzo blinked. What package, Earl? You talking about the one Miss Higgins left behind last Tuesday? The one that smelled like fish and regret? Earl shook his head vigorously. No, Lizzo, the cosmic package. The one that controls the universe. Lizzo stared at him. Earl had clearly been hitting the diesel a little too hard. But then Big Joe, abandoning his checkered playing cat, chimed in. He's right, Lizzo. Those kids are after the cosmic package. It's hidden somewhere in this truck stop. Lizzo looked around the starlight. It was a dump, a glorious grease-stained dive, but still a dump. The idea that it held the key to the universe was definitely laughable. Then she remembered something. The chipped ceramic squirrel Big Joe had been holding. One of them, she recalled, had a small, almost small, almost unnoticeable opening on its belly. He claimed it was for an air freshener. Lizzo grabbed the squirrel from Big Joe's hand. Is this it? She demanded, holding it up to the kids. The kids' black eyes widened. If that was even possible, they lunged for the squirrel. Lizzo held it high above her head. Not so fast, kiddos. What exactly are you going to do with this cosmic package anyway? The kids stopped, their faces contorted in what might have been frustration. We need to control the nap times. Lizzo burst out laughing. Nap times? You're terrorizing truck stop for better nap times? The kids didn't respond. They just stood there looking, well, pathetic. Lizzo sighed. She might be a lot lizard, but she wasn't a monster. She popped open the ceramic squirrel. Inside, nestled amongst a few stray cat hairs and a faded air freshener pellet, was a small, oddly shaped battery. Lizzo held it out for the kids. Here, she said, take your battery. Just promise me you'll use it for good. Maybe help some insomniacs get a good night's sleep. The kids snatched the battery and, without a word, turned and walked straight out the starlight, disappearing into the darkness. The silence that followed was broken only by the purring of Big Joe's cat, who had finally figured out the rules of checkers. Lizzo shook her head. Another night at the starlight, she adjusted her sequence top and winked at Earl. So, she said, about those Slim Jims. I knew I had a black-eyed kid story. What's up, Five Rings? Delirium. I have silver bullets. Well, they're not really bullets. They're silver cast like bullets. Hey, Julie, how are you? Tito, how are you? The Beast, what's up? The Beast. Did we play tonight? I don't think we played tonight. Did we count 5 rings? Oh, yesterday. That's right. Was it today? Yeah, it was today. So yeah, today. Braves, right? No, Diamondbacks. Who had a concept before the moon was called sin and people were called sinners. What's up, James? James Farnworth. Brian Cook, we missed you too. It's kind of hard that we got beat by anybody from Arizona. We the Dodgers. Hi, buddy. Yes. That was shit. What just happened? I think we are. Get them! Get them! Get them crackheads! Oh, shit. They're getting a lot lizard tonight. I love you too, baby girl. You got a cat now? All right, Brian. They're either getting donuts or some love from Lizzo, and they're like, $20, it's $20. Ah! We'll play a song for them. No, that was Bad Boys. Ugh. They are getting that booter. Sheriff John Brown coming for you. Que pasa? How are you, Kara? Janie, take a nap, dear. Thank you for hanging out with us. I think I have a couple of good ones in here somewhere. Oh, shit. Yes, I forgot all about this one. Wow, this one's long. I'll do that last. Here we go. I know high strangeness. I know. I can taste it. I literally can taste it. Spaghetti, have a good night. Be safe. Don't let your meat loaf. Thank you, Janie. Thank you, Janie. Damn it. Oh, that's a better way to adjust them. I got a better way to adjust the nuts. I hear that with Dogman and Werewolf. We should bind, and rebuke the beasts in the name of Jesus because of spiritual nature. They are from the lower vibration. Sometimes. They are flesh and blood. There are flesh and blood ones. So, I mean, there's been times, I've said it in a video that I did the other day, that there's times that rebuking them in the name of Christ will work, but then there's times that it doesn't, and that's when you need a firearm to blast one in the nuts or in the throat or eyeball. I'd go for eyeball. Blast it right in the eye socket. All right, here we go. 2 friends and I were walking on a trail in the woods near Lake Camelot, Illinois at 10 p.m. on October 25th, 2017. We usually walk on the trail all the time, so it isn't something new or different to us. It isn't like a paved out trail, more like a trail we made ourselves because we walk the same path every time. I had a flashlight on and my 2 other friends did not. I was pointing my flashlight to the left of me into the woods, not really paying attention to what was in front of me because we usually don't see anything odd. I heard my friend gasp, so I look over at him and he was looking forward into the trail. I pointed my flashlight where he was looking and something was crouched down on the edge of that trail. It was on the left side of the trail facing our direction. It looked very alert and frozen when we saw it and it saw us. I didn't see it move, and my friends didn't either, but we decided to run back the way we came from. After we ran about 20 feet back, we looked back and didn't see it. My description of what we saw: gray, small to medium-sized creature. I'd say 4 to 5 feet in height, but it was crouched down. The arms were not very skinny like some online pictures of aliens. The arms were very defined and a little bit muscular. The arms looked like human-like with 5 fingers. The legs, on the other hand, looked less human-like. I couldn't see feet, but the shape and direction of the legs reminded me of a frog leg. I couldn't see the torso very well either. The head was around the same proportion as a human head, but the shape of the head was square with 1 point on each side of the head. I couldn't identify if those were ears or something else. The creature was gray and either had no hair or very short hair. My 2 friends said it did not have hair. I thought it was short hair. From what I saw, the eyes were fully black. I didn't see many features on its face. It didn't move and it didn't make any sounds when we saw it, although we heard squeaking noises earlier while walking. We thought it was a baby great horned owl. Looking back at it now, it didn't sound like a baby great horned owl or any kind of owl. It just stared straight at us and we left and then turned around and didn't see it again. I plan on going out there again with my 2 friends to see if we can see it again. Well, Edna Wilson, it is confusing. It is. Is Lizzo's brother named Lazarus? I don't know, George. I'll have to think about that. So, one, Edna, there is no experts in this field. So, if anyone tells you something, make sure that it's from their past experience, or you know what I mean? Like if you have questions about things, or it's reputable and not from a creepypasta and such. There are flesh and blood creatures. There are flesh and blood ones. There are ones that can use portals. Now, here's the weird thing. Do we know the ones that use portals are flesh and blood? No, we don't know. I think yes. I think that the large portion of them are flesh and blood. I think the spiritual ones, or the ones that we can rebuke in the name of Christ, are something conjured by black magic. Like with Nephilim and other kind of biblical creatures. You can rebuke them in the name of Christ, I believe. I've never tried it, but I believe that you could. But with something like a dogman or a werewolf or a Bigfoot, I think you're more or less playing with fire if you go into the woods unarmed and thinking that prayer is going to be your only weapon and you're going to be safe. Prayer does work. Prayer is amazing. Prayer is great. You know, I'm not knocking prayer, but I'm saying you should definitely not go into the woods just thinking prayer is going to get your ass out of there. One, because what if you're hiking and instead of a Bigfoot or a dogman or something else, you come face to face with a mountain lion or a bear or something? You should always have some sort of backup on you. Crawlers, totally different thing. Like there's a book that I read and have downstairs, and it's by Bill Cooper when he wrote under the name of Commander X. And he actually talks about the Dulce experiment, or not experiment, Dulce and the war underneath Dulce. And how a few of the men, when they were battling, started to pray when shit went sideways. And he said he had seen some of them get shot dead. So it's kind of messed up. Prayer definitely works. It just, you can't rely on prayer to keep you safe in the woods from these creatures at all times. Bring it with you. Bring it with you. I'm not saying don't, but bring something else with you too. Delirium, I would agree with you 100%. Sideways. Aramaic. Jesus Christ. Yes, and if you happen to be in the woods and Mothman sees you, just scream Aramic's name and it will run or fly away very quickly because it doesn't want to get caught in the butterfly catching net. Exactly, Edna, exactly. I don't know, John. If I'm hiking where Tom Messick disappeared and a portal opens up or something opens up and something comes out, my first thing thinking of is not going to be the Our Father. My first thing is a fucking KS7 Caltech 12 gauge rounds going at that thing, and then I'll pray. Rando, we think alike. Good thinking. Yes, Brittany, thank you. Spray and pray. What's up, Hem? How are you? Mert's in the house. I honestly don't know. SDL. I imagine if it bleeds, I'm doing well. Thank you, Em. I would say if it bleeds, yes. Shapeshifter, That's when I would pray. I would pray for a shapeshifter. I would definitely, because that's black magic. I think that's shapeshifting is black magic. You know, that's my own opinion. That's not lore or that's not, concrete anything. Just, I think TUI, baby. TUI. Maybe. Buffalo Boar. I'm partial to TUI. Tumble upon impact. What firearm do you need, Mert? 50 cal, baby. 50 cal. And you don't want to send it to my house. No, I'm just kidding. 4570, great round. I don't know. I would, and I'll add to it. Bring your army and I'll add to it. Drones and more. Next loot drop. Shit, bro. I think my next firearm I want to buy sometime, I don't know when, but New York State sucks because our governor just passed a law. Well, not just, but she passed a law saying that you need a semi-automatic hunting or semi-automatic rifle license now. And I'm like, what? So before you buy a firearm in New York now, that's semi-automatic, you need this license now. And I'm like, this is bullshit. Rando, yeah, me too. Me too. And congratulations to your son. And I pray for your son and his safety. And I hope that he learns a lot and I hope that he retires as a Marine because his life will be set then. I interrupt you for this important and remember to bring Aramaico with hunting Mothman. New York is. I gotta find a way. So my firearm that I want to buy is the SOCOM 2 or the SOCOM 16-2, it's called. It's a Springfield Arms. Like, it's nothing special. It's just a fucking 308, beautiful gun. But the SOCOM 2 is, oh my God. Oh, I would date it. It's so beautiful. I would date it. Is Libra here? Where is Libra? Holy shit. What's up, dear? How are you? Wow, I haven't seen you in forever. You just made my night. Thank you. It sounds like an assault rifle. What's up, Dougie? How are you, Douglas Hemingway? DL, baby. Libra, I haven't seen you since before my surgery. My implants are perfect. Look at these things. They are pearly white. No vampires tonight. Now that I know you're going to be around, I thought you ditched us. Thank you, Maura. I thank you, Julie. Aramek, you know this smile well, baby. Now that I know that you're going to be around more, I will actually next week I will have a couple vampire stories for you, and I will do a vampire lot lizard story. Actually, I did one a while ago. Came out perfect. No flirting with Libra, Brian Cook. Can't flirt with Libra. This one goes out to you, Aramic. Well, not that, but this story. Not that. I don't know why that happened like that. That was too fucking perfect. Oh my God, I'm sorry, DL. I'm sorry. I pray for your mom. All right. I have a small tidbit of a sighting of something that may or may not have been being described by so many around the world as the Mothman. My girlfriend and I saw Mothman Prophecies at the movie theater when it came out way back when. The next day, her and I were driving up the road situated in the middle of Jefferson City, Missouri, when this bird-like thing that resembled a bird-like thing in the movie that I believe was supposed to have been caused a car accident bounced off our windshield. It didn't look like any kind of bird or any kind of thing I had ever seen. Right when the thing hit my windshield, my girlfriend cried, "Whoa!" And it was odd because the first thing I thought after it happened was it reminded me of the bird-like thing in the Mothman movie. And just after she cried, "Whoa!" my girlfriend said, "That looked like the thing from Mothman Prophecies." It's not the 7-foot humanoid with red eyes and wings, but I don't know what to think. I didn't look back to see what happened to whatever it was that hit the windshield, and I didn't stop. Maybe I was just too freaked out. Anyway, what do you think? I think you hit a fucking bird, buddy. You hit a bird. You hit a fucking bird. You hit a turkey vulture. It just came out, Libra. I'm sorry. You always make my face red. What's up, Brian Mons? How are you, buddy? I got one at 44 mag. Dang. Dude, like, if it's not 7 foot, if it's not a humanoid thing, Aramic, if it's not humanoid, you didn't hit a fucking Mothman, right? Right, Aramic? You hit a turkey vulture. You know, like, that's what you hit, bud. Shit, bro. Nothing inconclusive. Thank you. We are 2 hours in. So I am going to do the last lot lizard story, and then we'll keep going for a little while. So, lot lizard story, here we go. The flickering fluorescent lights of the big gulp truck stop cast a greasy sheen on the rain-slicked asphalt. Loneliness hung thick in the air, thick as exhaust fumes from idling 18-wheelers. This was Trixie's hunting ground. Now, your average truck stop denizen, Trixie, possessed a certain uniqueness that set her apart. For one, she was rumored to have 3 breasts, a detail whispered amongst the truckers in hushed, fearful tones. But that wasn't the truly terrifying part. No, the real horror was Wilbur. Wilbur was not a man, or not even an animal. Wilbur was a purple rubber walrus wiener. And Wilbur reeked, a potent, unholy blend of stale beer, cheap cologne, and something vaguely reminiscent of roadkill baked in the summer sun. Trixie, with Wilbur clutched possessively in her hand, would stalk the lonely truckers, promising them a good time in a voice that sounded like gargling motor oil. But if they refused her, the true horror would unfold. "Just a little company, honey," she wheezed, stepping out of the shadows, and the truckers would glance her way, a flicker of interest quickly replaced by abject terror as they registered the unsettling trio, 2 breasts on prominent display, and the sinister glint of Wilbur in the dim light. "No, ma'am," they'd stammer, backing away slowly. "I'm married, very happily married." Trixie's eyes would narrow. Married, huh? Well, Wilbur here doesn't care about your marital status. He's very persuasive fella. And with that, she'd advance, brandishing Wilbur like a grotesque weapon. The smell alone was enough to send a grown man scrambling for their rigs, engines roaring to life in a desperate attempt to escape the purple walrus of doom. Rumors spread alike of wildfire through the CB radio waves. Truckers rerouted their journeys, swore off truck stops altogether, and filled their cabs with industrial strength air fresheners, all in desperate attempt to avoid Trixie and her foul smelling companion. Many truckers found themselves haunted by nightmares, visions of Wilbur pulsating gently in Trixie's grip, pursuing them down the endless highway. They'd wake up in a cold sweat, the phantom stench clinging in their nostrils. The legend of Trixie Three Tits and Purple Walrus became a chilling campfire tale, a cautionary fable whispered to rookie drivers. Then came Earl. Earl, a long-hauled trucker, a man forged from steel and fueled by coffee. He'd seen things on the road, things that would make your hair stand on end. Exploding tires at midnight, hitchhikers who vanished into thin air. And that one time he swore he saw a UFO disguised as a giant inflatable chicken. Earl wasn't easily rattled. He pulled into the Big Gulp late one night, bone-tired and craving a cup of joe. As he lumbered toward the entrance, a figure emerged from the shadows, and it was Trixie. "Hello, sailor," she rasped. Her eyes gleamed in the dim light. Wilbur was in her grasp, emanating its potent aroma. Earl took a long, hard look at Trixie. He saw the desperation in her eyes, the loneliness etched on her face, the general air of, well, you know. He took an even longer, harder look at Wilbur. He wrinkled his nose. "Hold on a minute there, ma'am," Earl said, his voice a low rumble. He reached into his cab and rummaged around and emerged with a small, battered container. "You mind?" he asked, unscrewing the lid. The smell that wafted out was overpowering. It was a concentrated essence of skunk. He'd once used it to deter a particularly aggressive raccoon that had taken a liking to his truck undercarriage. It was potent stuff. He held the container under Wilbur. Trixie gasped and Wilbur trembled. The purple rubber seemed to deflate ever so slightly. "Now, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish here, ma'am," Earl said, his voice unwavering. "But I can tell you one thing. Wilbur here smells like a bouquet of roses compared to this stuff. You want to play a stink off? I'm your huckleberry." Trixie stared at Earl, her face a mask of disbelief. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. The truckers were supposed to run, not challenge her to a smell-off. She hesitated and slowly lowered Wilbur. You won't, you wouldn't," she stammered. Earl raised an eyebrow and held the container a bit closer. Trixie's face crumbled. Okay, you win. Just keep that shit away from me." She turned and fled into the darkness, Wilbur dangling limply in her hand. Earl watched her go and chuckled. He screwed the lid back on the container. "Sometimes," he muttered. "You just gotta fight fire with fire, or in case, stink with stink." From that day on, the legend of Trixie Three Tits and the Purple Walrus began to fade. Some say she moved to a new truck stop, a new town, a new avenue. Well, who knows? But the truckers of America breathed a collective sigh of relief. Earl, the skunk stank savior, became a legend of his own right, a testament to the fact that sometimes the best weapon against the bizarre horror is a little bit of good old-fashioned nose-curling repugnance. That was good. I don't care. That was good. What's up, doll? How are you? Old Trixie Three Tits. Thank you, Edna. I'm doing well. Thank you, doll. I'm just loving the stinky stories. Trixie, I got the idea from Total Recall. Libra, will you send me the link to that Tic-Tac thingy? I know it's TikTok, but send me the link, please. I want to check it out. All right, this is from Puerto Rico. Bigfoot, how are you? That's funny. I didn't have any luck, to be honest with you. You know what's weird is, what's up, Jimmy? Listen, Jimmy, I need you to call me tomorrow. I just talked about you earlier in the book that you're writing and the story I'm putting in. But I need you to call me tomorrow when you're not busy, sometime around 2 or 3 if you can. Jimmy Petnito, a real celebrity right there, my friends. For some reason, every time I Googled what you sent me in America, it would say, I got this like thing on the screen that said unavailable, like internet unavailable, something unavailable. But yet when I look up Scotland and the lady who disappeared, I don't know, like 3 years, 4 years ago, when I interviewed the lady from Scotland, and the same time that lady had gotten killed in that field, I was able to look that up. So I don't know what happened. It was freaking weird. I'm going to try to change my VPN and see if I can do it that way. I have it still saved. I saved every email you've sent me, especially that birthday email. Birthday! What's up, Linda? Damn it. Thank you, Aramic. I don't know if it's like the VPN or whatnot. I know America, because of the cyber hacking that is coming out coming out of the UK with crypto and stuff. Like that had been going on for like a year and a half before. I wasn't even aware of it, but yeah, it might be in that. I'm not sure. Might have been on our end, like America's end. Amy's birthday today. Amy, happy birthday if you're with Jimmy. Erica Nelson, I do, and I've shared them. I've got a file on. I've got state files on every state. So all right, this one's interesting, and it comes out of Puerto Rico, and I do not speak Spanish, so bear with me. A few days ago, a Mr. Miguel Metos, who lived in the El Duque sector of the municipality of Nagabu, Puerto Rico, which adjoins the El Duque forest to the east, had shared that he had several unusual experiences in that area. So, August 2017, one night between 2:30 a.m. and 3 a.m., I saw an ovular-shaped, unidentified flying object about 4 inches long, 2 inches wide, illuminated with bright green light. I woke up to go to the bathroom and noticed a reflection of light on the bathroom window coming from the back of the residence outside. Upon reaching the room, I looked out the window and saw the aforementioned object hovering above the ground, 4 feet off the ground. I called my wife and she saw it as well. The object flew over the entire lot, the house, and the structures, making some very sharp, fast turns and zigzags, as if examining everything, and then moved away at an incredible speed. The top of the mountains behind the residence, the communications with Pico de Estate is part of the forest. My wife and I lost sight of it there. Sounds like an orb to me. Night of November 2017, I had an encounter with a creature somewhat similar to an ape, but with very strange physical characteristics. The house in which we lived belonged to my wife's mom, and we lived in an apartment on the ground floor of it. The land next to the house was part covered with cement and the other section with stones and gravel. In that section, my wife had a brave pit bull dog with her little house. She was very territorial and would not let strangers in. One night, the dog began to growl and bark and scream and moan as if afraid of something. And that surprised us because she is brave and mean sometimes. I went out to see what was the matter with it and to see if she was all right. And as I did so, I quickly noticed a very strong acidic odor similar to that of sulfur, which irritated my throat. Still went ahead and checked, but did not notice anything out of the ordinary, so I went back to the house. A few minutes later, it was felt that something or someone was walking on the stones next to the canopy. At that moment, I took my firearm and went back out to see what was happening. I again smelled that strong odor, and then I noticed the presence of an apparently furry and dark creature 75 feet away from me, which, not being able to see it up close, I thought maybe it was an ape. Then I lost sight of it. December of 2017, I don't remember the exact date, I met an incredible creature on the road. It was already 9:30 or 10 p.m. I was returning from visiting my dad in a nearby town. I was driving my car, and being a few meters from the house located in our neighborhood, I suddenly saw that in the middle of the road there was something similar to a large, dark brown dog. I stopped the car, honked at it to make the dog move, but it did not move. So I got out of the car and threw a rock near it to make it move. To my great surprise, what I thought was a big dog got up, stretched, and I could see really what it was. I couldn't believe what I was watching. There, standing in front of me, was a creature about 7 feet in height. It was standing on 2 legs like a person, but its legs were weird, kind of curved, and had 3 large claws on its feet. Its entire body was covered in short, dark brown fur. It had strong-looking arms similar to that of a person, with hands with only 4 clawed fingers. Its head was more or less like that of a human being, but its face somehow resembled that of a ferret or dog with a muzzle with a slightly pronounced snout, and it had shorter ears. Its eyes were totally black and slightly almond-shaped, not very large. Seeing it shocked me. I thought about drawing my firearm, but something told me not to. That creature was very big, and if I missed the shot, it could have attacked me. We looked at each other for a couple of moments, and then it walked quietly into the brush. I stopped seeing it. There, I entered my vehicle and went home. I told my partner what happened. She told me, "Why didn't you shoot it?" I said I couldn't do it. If I missed a shot, that big thing could have attacked me and killed me. Now, that thing looked like a cross between a human being and an animal, and its behavior seemed too intelligent to me. I suspect it may have been the same creature I had seen before, which I thought was an ape. January of 2018, strange flying lights at the top of the mountain. After the passage of Hurricane Maria through Puerto Rico in 2017, the entire area was without electric power, and on many occasions, we saw a lot of strange lights flying overhead. One night, I was traveling back to our neighborhood, and casually looking at the top of the mountain, I visualized a line of bright white lights coming down from the sky towards the top of El Yunque. Suddenly, the rose of light made two quick, jerky movements left to right, descended rapidly at the top, and then a mist suddenly formed that blocked the visibility. That fog did not seem normal to me. I believed it was something produced by whatever the row of lights were to hide their presence. January 2018, strange behavior in animals. At the end of January 2018, a skinny horse with a rare stamp on its left leg arrived at the house. The horse did not approach the other horses that were there. But the strange thing, in my opinion, was that it didn't eat grass. However, it pretended to eat something on the cement floor. There was no grass. When you spoke to it, it looked at you as it understood with a very penetrating stare. After that, it went into the brush and disappeared again from sight. Thank you. Puerto Rico, very scary. Yes, SDL. I'm just not a very well Spanish speaking man. Matt C, I think the connection. So what's up, Luke? How are you, buddy? I think the connection is the orb and the cryptids, Bigfoot or Dogman. I think it's an energy given off. Maybe it's produced just something, because you in every encounter, like let's say maybe 1 out of 10 encounters that you hear Dogman or Bigfoot, you don't hear about orbs, but there's always that 1 out of 10 that you do. And maybe it's the arrival of them. Maybe it's like a portal. Maybe they're crossing over from a dimension or something. And those orbs are energy, like accompanying them, maybe to help break the portal open or whatnot. I'm not sure. Could be, Claire Lass. Good night, Michael. Thank you for hanging out with us. I talked about that account. I remember when he went missing. Do you remember when that guy got attacked by the biggest wolf he had ever seen with golden eyes? Orbs all over Egypt when I was there. Really, that's crazy, Andrea. That's really crazy. A band that I listened to, maybe Zilla, maybe a band that I listened to, probably not. I'm not saying probably like I'm, but I think so. A band that I listened to called King 81 or King 810, King 810. They're they were in Egypt and they were talking about Horus and Ra and all of that, and talking about orbs in one of the videos that they had made. It was really cool. Really, really cool. I keep reaching for that can of soda. What's up, 50K doctor? I said hi to you earlier. You probably didn't hear me though. Yes. Yes, the obese. What's up, Life and Times? I'm sorry, I must have missed you. I apologize for not catching you. How are you? And good night, my friend. Maggie, have a good night. Went to college at University of Virginia, would investigate some Virginia Bigfoot. Saw around 10 different ones. No shit. There's a story of an old man out in Arizona, portal open. There's property. Maybe when we travel via orb, I don't know. Yeah, I want to go to Egypt. Do you think the government has certain created portals? I think government. I don't think they created them. I think they can open them. Like they have the power to. CERN, absolutely CERN. Definitely. But I really want to go to. Thank you, JCM. Appreciate that. I apologize if I didn't catch you earlier. The thing goes fast. You've been with me for a while, and I apologize. Definitely with alien technology. The other day I did an upload when I went hiking, and I did some information on the CIA. Listen to that one. That one's cool. I don't think the government let the aliens open them. I think the aliens just do what they want to do, Julie. I don't think the aliens answer to the US government or the 1%, the Illuminati. I think they're like, hey, we're gonna do what we want to do and you can suck our ass. You know? Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. If you think about the packs that were made in the 40s, you know, here's some technology. The aliens were like, here, we'll give you technology and we're gonna abduct people and do experiments on them. And the government said, okay, but you need to give us a list of who you abduct and this and that. And they said, okay. And then, they've exceeded that number by tenfold. I mean, look at Alaska. I've heard that too. I've heard that. I got food poisoning too. I'll take you up on. I'm going to England first to hang out with you though. Japan, I'll hit England and then Japan. All right. Then I'll bring you to Japan with me, Libra. Yeah, I did an upload, George, on that too. A while ago, Coker. Definitely. That's like my one place I need to go before I die. I have like a couple trips that I need to take before I die. I want to do the railroad trip from Toronto to the West Coast, where it has that like observation deck. I want to go to Alaska. I want to go to Japan. I wanted to see the pyramids. Maybe I'll just go to South America and Central America. And I want to go to Vietnam. I need to go to Vietnam. Italy, nice. Oh, Italy's nice. My dad went there. My dad was stationed there right before he went to Vietnam, actually. Shit. Ugh. What is going on with this? Yeah, back to George on Oak Ridge, where the balls are. Oh shit, that's scary. That is scary. Yee. That's the one place I want to go. The Alps, Austrian Alps. That's cool. I'd like to go there too. Japan, though, is the place I need to go. One, because I want to experience the people, experience like the cleanliness there. It's very clean. The traditions, but I want to go to the forest, suicide forest. And I'd love to do like a paranormal hunt or investigation of like a house there, just because there's it's just steeped in like, yeah, very clean, very clean. Um Steeped in just richness, like not richness, but like tradition wise. And I want to go to Easter Island. Please skip Seattle. If I go to Seattle, I want to go and see Andrew Wood's grave. That's the only reason why I would ever go to Seattle. Is one of my favorite bands. I would go Jimi Hendrix, yeah. But Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone, probably the greatest band that ever came out of Seattle. Kurt Cobain's good, but even Kurt Cobain loved Andrew Wood. I think it's in Seattle too, Libra. Tiggy, buddy. Come here, buddy. Buddy. Come on. I think Tiggy's coming. Buddy. Come on, buddy. Don't tease me. Come here. Well, fuck you then. Ow! Oh! I got this in my asshole. God dang. Nah, I don't want to go to LBL. LBL is too played out. LBL is like, I don't know. The fucking chair got me. It's like, hey, how are you? Julie, damn it. My message. Bowling alley before they. That is crazy. That is crazy. Holy shit. I did not know that. That's awesome. I would go to Dismal Swamp before I went to LBL, to be honest with you. LBL is just like, to me, it's, I don't know, it's overplayed. It's over talked about. Dogmen are everywhere. It's, you know, like, it is scary and shit happens there, but it's like, you know, I don't know. To me, it's, there's more. I'd go to Elkhorn before I went to LBL. You know what I mean? James, how are you? Overhyped, yes. Is Aramic still here? Where's Aramic? No, I haven't been. I'm gonna go. Me and James, Dark Waters, plan on doing Merle Plantation. I'm glad that you're here with us. I'm glad that you're here with us, James. Um, Dark Waters and I already planned on because I'm not gonna travel until Belle's 18. But me and James Dark Waters planned on going to do Merle Plantation together. Mount Shasta, yes, thank you. That would be cool. That would be cool. I would do that, Libra. I would do that. I can't believe my cat just fucking looked at me and walked away. What a jerk. That's interesting. Outside in. Yeah, neck. But you've been to other places that have been just as creepy. Me and you, I've talked. It is creepy. I remember you saying that. My cat does own me. He's a dink, but I love him. This is a black-eyed kid story or experience on a Lakota reservation. An investigation shamanic group on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota was called to investigate and bless a home. The incident began when two sisters observed a black-eyed child outside of their home. Not long later, a group of ashen white-skinned children with black eyes were seen congregating around the property in an attempt to interact with the other children living there. The first two occasions, there was only two of them. They would be asked to be let inside and get some food. The third time, a third black-eyed kid showed up, and this time they asked for blood. They were never granted access inside the house. The children described their voice as not normal, robotic, and monotone. Pets also went missing around this time on the property. The parents of the children also recalled seeing these black-eyed children. They also claimed to have noticed strange events around their home, including poltergeist activity and the sighting of, at least one or two occasions, strange entities that they later thought to be alien of nature. Night, monkey. Enormous. I don't think you can say that. I don't think you can say that, enormous. A night owl. Yes, thank you. Come here, buddy. I just scared my snake, though. My snake was coming out of his fucking hidey hole, and I walked by, and he's like, I wouldn't have banned you. I wouldn't have banned you, enormous. I know you were. I know it was like a mistypo. I believe that to be true, Matt. I believe that to be true. Good night, Brian. It was good seeing you tonight, buddy. I had two black-eyed kids hiss at me before I hissed back at them. Oh, that's fantastic. What happened in 94? Lindman, you're back, buddy. I heard that, and that's sad. That is sad because a lot of the Appalachian area, is the creepiest place of it. England, Yorkshire, Moors, creepy, Mr. Pierce. American Werewolf in London was filmed there. Hang on one second. I'll finish that statement. Barry Connor's coming. Is that in the Moors? That's where Old Stinker is supposed to be, right, Libra? So I think this is just my theory on everything. I think there's a five state East Coast hotspot. Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, and West Virginia. And then it just expands outward. And if the reason why I think that is because of the poverty, the government went in there and pretty much just wreaked havoc on the land, didn't care about the people, just wanted the coal and the minerals, and left it just poor. But also that area has been a hot spot for paranormal activity since Native Americans were here, before European men and women landed on this country. I think there's an evil there, and I don't know what it is. It's something's drawn, and it makes it stronger with the addictions and the poverty. It's just, but the people are fucking so nice there. It's so weird because they're living in like absolute poverty, but they're fucking nice. It's sad. Delirium, have a good night. Get some sleep, please. Nubian, how are you? Yeah, that's where Old Stinker, right? There's a werewolf there, like Old Stinker, the most famous one at the Moors, I believe. Old Stinker from the Hall. Okay. The Moors, United Kingdom. Damn you. The Moors, United Kingdom to Hall, United Kingdom. It is, the Moors is the Hall. Right? York Moors to Hall. You'd need specifically which Hall you're referring to. Old Stinker. Yorkshire. Moors, United Kingdom. Located where? Yorkshire. So the Moors is Yorkshire. I knew I was right. Thank you, Claire. I knew I was right. I'm like, wait a second. What's up, just in case? You and Tyler 420 should get together and have a party. Hey, Lisa Marie, how are you tonight? She looked at me and disappeared. Oh, that's terrifying. That is terrifying. No, we're not talking about the Moors, the traveling sailing group. No, Moors is in the United Kingdom. There's a spot called the Moors in the United Kingdom, Tim. No, definitely not. The Adirondacks are huge. Watch the ex-police officer from Yorkshire do a interview with a cryptic channel. I'll send you the link. Yes, please do. I want to check that out. What is Yorkshire pudding? Is it sweet like vanilla and tapioca? The bear attack? I'm looking into it. Yes, I am looking into it. It is weird. I don't know, Red Cardinal. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can go 3 hours. Blood pudding. Ew. Ew. No, like popover batter eaten with beef. So it's like, okay, so Julie, popover, and it's like a pancake ingredients. So it's like beef Wellington, kind of like beef Wellington. No, it sounds English. Beef Wellington sounds English to me. No, I want you to tell me. I'm just kidding. Why can't it be like beef Wellington? I like beef Wellington. No, I've been going on for 3 hours, Red Cardinal. You might have to refresh your computer or phone. Pop over. I'm gonna check this out. I need some now. Yum yum. Nairoshi, what's going on? No way, Julie. My mom is from England. That's so crazy. No way. I'm just kidding. My mom's not from England. Doing well. Doing well. My mom is from East Beckenfire, England. I made that completely up. That's a whole different town that exists only here. What the fuck? There we go. Try Toad in the Hole. What is Toad in the Hole? Matt, do you live in the United Kingdom? Toad in the Hole. Question. I'm from Alabama. I never remembered hearing about Dogman growing up here in the last 15 years. I hear more and more about it. Any thoughts? Well, here's something. Tim Coonbo Baker, he grew up in Alabama. He grew up in like Booger Bottom. And a lot of what was said, Joseph Page, like the old timers in your area would call Dogmen and Bigfoot, both, they'd lump them in together as boogers, you know? That's probably why. Toad in a hole. Dude, that does not sound entertaining or edible. Toads stink. Don't ask me how I know what a toad smells like either. What's bangers? Bangers sounds like a porn site. Frog in the pond? Jesus Christ. Bangers are sausage? Call them sausage. Bangers. Gonna get me some bangers. Smoke me up. I'm not even saying that word because I'm going to get canceled if I say what you guys call ciggies over there. Toad in a hole is a giant Yorkshire pudding with sausage inside. Then you pour gravy all over it. God dang it. Open up. Toad in a hole. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is interesting. That looks good. That almost looks like a quiche with it almost looks like a quiche with sausage in it, kind of. I like me some spotted dick every once in a while. Oh, gonna have me some spotted dick. Gonna have me some spotted dick and a bit of cucumber sandwiches. And smoke me a... Well... Brian Cook, she lied to you. She literally lied to you. I'm sorry. Oh, two sides of bull balls. I'd rather have some toad in a hole. Spotted dick is good, I think. I don't know. Spotted dick. Spotted dick is a traditional British steamed pudding, typically made of soot, sweet, and dried fruit, often served with custard. Ooh, custard. I like custard. I think you can find it in a can. Well, I just remember when the royal wedding, when Harry met Sally. I mean, Harry married what's her name there? Meghan Markle. They had spotted dick in tea and cucumber sandwiches. Well, it's kind of over, Zilla. I'm kind of beat right now, so we're just having fun now. What's up, Matt? I talk like that. Cockney language is the best, Jeff. Cockney language? What is that? Cockney language. Oh, look at that! A dialect of English primarily associated with the East End of London. Unique English slang. Videos. Let's hear it. Cockney. I love it. Oh, it's wonderful. I'm going to London. I'm going to speak me some Cockney and eat me some spotted dick and smoke a... God dang it. Y'all freaking... I would get beat up if a real English, well, you guys are real English people, but like if an English person is like, Jeff, we do not sound like that. You're a fucking idiot. And they just beat me up. And then say, top of the morning to you. I know you don't say that either. That's Irish. I just gotten back to a parking lot down from Mount Vernon's Wolf Run Park. And when I turned on my lights to leave, I saw it in the woods. I felt like I was being followed my entire hike. I got lost on the way since I was feeling super sketched out. So when I saw it, I was panicked and scared. It looked startled as my lights came on and made this strange gargling, scratching sound. And I felt super sick to my stomach. I don't really know what it was. Like, I thought it was someone in the woods, but its eyes looked weird and it was smooth skin and naked. It seemed to vibrate in front of my eyes as I looked at it, and I ripped my phone out of my pocket and tried to take pictures, but my phone seemed to lag. I had an iPhone 6 Plus at the time, and I knew my battery was having issues, but it never anything like this. I slammed my car in reverse and got out of there as fast as I could. The noise it made still freaks me out. It sounded like a velociraptor in Jurassic Park movie. It made me feel lightheaded, and I felt sick in a strange way. That was the last encounter of the night. Jersey. Where's Susan from Jersey? Jeff wants to put a toad in the hole in porky when he comes over and visits. Yes, I do. Yes. All right. Bedknob and broomsticks. Is that another English thing? That's on Pornhub, isn't it, Scott? All right. 3 hours and 2 minutes. I want to say thank you to everybody who was here with me tonight. I had a lot of fun. I really did. So thank you. Thank you for everyone that helped this channel out. Thank you for everyone just being here. Libra, it was great seeing you tonight. It was great seeing everybody tonight. Jesse, good. Have a good night. Thank you for being here. A 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. I hope to see you next week. Clint, have a good night, buddy. Enormous. Don't forget to send me that email, Libra. Always fun. It is always fun. You're absolutely right, Dustin. Anyway, thank you guys. And thank you for, we hit 97,000 last week. It's fucking awesome. I never thought we'd get this far. So thank you. And I say we because it's you guys and me, you know. I don't even consider it's not my channel, it's our channel. So I will see you guys next Saturday. But you'll see me throughout the week. So I love you all, and have a great night, and stay well and have a healthy week.